Hola guys, editing Estella here. Just popping in real quick para decirles que Barbie's going to sound really far away the whole episode. So sorry. Audio got messed up and we couldn't fix it, but she'll be back to normal next time. Okay, thank you. Bye. Here's the episode.
Hola. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
We were both talking at the same time. So we are going to conclude last week's episode, but first, welcome to Cafecito de Crime. I'm Barbara.
I'm Estela.
Today, I got my same old venti americano with heavy cream. And that makes me so happy because it is a venti. And you, what did you get?
I tried this new one. It's not nitro. It's just regular cold brew with chocolate cream. It's new.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let me see how it tastes. Hold on.
She's going to come back and tell us how it tastes.
It's good.
Yeah. Oh. Nah, you didn't like it.
I know, I do like it.
No, really?
I like it.
Your face didn't look like you liked it.
I like it. It would have been better if it was nitro, but I'm just going to customize a plain nitro like this, and I'm sure I'll love it. It's good. I know, I do like it. Okay. It's just mostly cream anyway, you know? Like, that's el que da el sabor.
Yeah. So, yeah, mine is just plain black coffee, apparently, because they did not put the heavy cream.
Stop, really?
Yeah.
What the?
Which is fine. I have heavy cream here at home. I can put some on. But anyway, so welcome to our episode number, what are we on already? 5? 6?
I think this is our 6, but it's part 2 of part 1, which is episode 5.
Which is episode 5.
So go listen to episode 5 so you can know what's happening in this episode.
Yes, because as they say, 1 is always before 2. I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what happened, and this was the week where everything last week everything happened with Uvalde and all the kids that were murdered senselessly. And we really, it was horrible. It was horrible because it's in our state. It was horrible because it's children around our children's or my children's age and your nieces and nephews. And it was just something that we could not get over. So we had to step back a little and, because we do talk about crime, and we just wanted to let everyone know that we do respect everybody, and everything we do every time on this podcast is really just out of wanting to discuss things that,
have happened.
Yeah. The news has been horrible. I had to stop watching news because it was just getting too much, but then it just been...
And there's another mass shooting at that hospital.
That scares me because...
You work in the field.
I can see that happening. We do have patients that get very upset after something, or they get upset at the physician, and
or you guys, or the front desk, or scary.
Yeah. So my job does give us instructions on what to do. I know where I'm going. I told them I'm just running. So I've already told them bye. I know them. Peace.
Sí, nos vemos.
Yeah, be calm. I have kids. Bye. I was like, we're all gonna run. They were like, oh, I'll run in the room. No, ma'am. I'm running out the door. And then they were like, oh, well, we'll all run and then we'll meet up. No, ma'am. If the shooter is down there, I'm gonna run the opposite way. No, not me.
That's crazy.
And then they were like, please don't try to be the hero. Not me. I'm not the hero, bro. But. We just want everybody to be careful with that out there. Please, everybody.
It's just like, it just feels like you can't even do anything. I mean, it's been happening obviously for years, but especially like you can go to the grocery store because that happened right at the grocery store.
You're at the hospital trying to get help for something that,
had nothing to do with, and somebody just comes in there, and you can go to school, you can go to church, you can go to the movies. And there was like a mass shooting, this guy, I think it was earlier this week también, they were at a funeral, a burial, and they got shot up the burial. And the guy that they were burying got shot. That's how he died.
Oh, that's so sad. So with this being said, and...
Go listen to part 1 before this one, part 2.
Wow.
Okay.
So this is a Jennifer Pan case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember... She's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm just going to like really, really just going to say last time, our first episode, we left at where they had already set the date for when they were going to do the hit, or se iban a meter a su casa a robar or whatever. And I didn't mention this, but Felix, her brother, he's away at college. So he's not around for any of this.
He actually goes to college.
Yes, he actually goes to university. Yeah. So November 8th, 2010 was a Monday. That morning, Jennifer got a text from Lenford, remember, aka Homeboy, letting her know that the hit would be carried out later that day, cuando todos ya estaban en su casa, que llegaron del trabajo and all that stuff. That day, su papá, Han, got home from running errands like around 6-ish, and Beak was out with her friend and a cousin line dancing. Because she liked to do that. Like, she loved line dancing, and she would go line dancing on Mondays.
Like country line dancing?
I don't know.
Or like maybe like their country? Like, they were Chinese or were they?
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese. So maybe they have their own line dancing?
I don't know, honestly. She got home almost at 9:30. Like, around that time, 9:30-ish. She put on green Winnie the Pooh pajamas.
Cute!
Sat with her feet in a bucket of warm water and sat down in front of the TV to watch Chinese news. I know, sad. By this time, su esposo Han ya se había acostado. He had gone to bed like around 8:30-ish, por ahí.
Pues sí, es que she was tired from the zapateada que había dado.
Yeah.
De las piernitas.
Yeah. So Jennifer came downstairs to say goodnight to her mom, to Beak, unlocked the front door, and went upstairs. So like around 10:02-ish, the light in Han's study, like su oficina, turned on and then turned off. So that was a sign or like a signal to the guys that were outside waiting in the car. It was Eric, David, allegedly, and in a third unknown male in the car. A couple of minutes later, there's a call from David's phone to Jennifer's that lasts 3 minutes and 23 seconds. And soon after that, they enter the home. As Big sat watching the news, 3 men barged into her home carrying guns. One man pointed his gun at her, and the 2 other went upstairs. One of the 2 men that went upstairs went to go get Han, de donde estaba dormido el pobre señor. He gets woken up with a gun to his face and getting asked, que dónde estaba el dinero? Like, where's the money? The other one went to look for Jennifer, and according to Han, as he later testifies, was talking to her in soft tones, like outside of her bedroom door. He saw them out of the corner of his eyes as he was being led downstairs. So cuando bajaron a Han y que Han and Big were together, abajo, Vic was crying and she was asking him, she's like, how could they have gotten inside the house without making a sound, you know?
Because she was sitting.
She was right in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
One of the men yells at them to shut up. You talk too much. Pinches pendejos.
¿Qué te importa, baboso? Or maybe they were talking in their language.
They were. That's how they communicate mostly in the home. And then the man también kept yelling at them, where's the money? Where's the money? And then Han told them that he only had $60 in his wallet. And they were upstairs in his room. So...
yeah, because I don't understand people that go and ask you for money. I don't keep any cash. Unless you're going to take my piggy bank that has all the nickels, you're not going to get any cash in my house. You see what I'm saying?
I don't carry cash either.
So then if somebody's going to come rob me, like, dude, you're going to have a really funny surprise. You can have the dog.
But that's the thing. They didn't want the money.
Yeah, I know. But
it's just like, yeah, that's true.
General. And then just to remind everyone, all of this is happening because this hoe lied. And she wanted to get rid of her parents because she could not just bear to tell her parents
that she wanted to leave. Yeah, yes. Yes.
So, I mean, all of this is happening. I just want y'all to remember because she wanted just...
to be with Daniel.
To be with Daniel.
And she thought that for her to be able to be with Daniel, her parents had to be out of the picture.
That's
allegedly
crazy to me. Okay, keep going.
So he was like, I only have $60 in my wallet, but there's other valuables inside the home that you can take if you want. Y le dieron, they hit him in the head con the end of the gun.
¿Para qué? A ver.
And he isn't knocked out, or it doesn't knock him out or anything, pero sí le dieron. Al pobre.
¿Para qué? Sí, como que they're going to shoot him. Like, why?
Fucking assholes.
Yeah. I guess they were playing the part.
Yeah. Jennifer, después, after she's upstairs with that other man, she gets brought downstairs by one of the guys for show, yo creo, nada más. And I assume because the guy that hit Han in la cabeza, luego le grita al guy que tiene a Jennifer, take her back upstairs, blah, blah. Supposedly que le enseñara dónde estaba la wallet de su papá, que tenía los $60. So they take her back upstairs.
And the $60 were very necessary.
And in the book that I mentioned in the first part by Jeremy Grimaldi, as Jennifer is being led back upstairs, Vic cries out, please, you can hurt us, but please don't hurt my daughter.
I can't. That's it. That rap.
So Han and Vic were then taken down to the basement, and they were forced to sit down because they had like a, I guess it was like another, well, yeah, like a family area. I mean, they had sofas, a TV. You could watch TV down there and stuff. Y lo sientan en el sofá, and they try to put blankets over their heads. Han was shot twice, one in the shoulder and the other one in the face. And then Vic was shot 3 times in the head, and she died instantly. And then the man ran out the front door to the car that was waiting for them, and like around 10:30, like they drove off. So literally, this lasted, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. When they leave, Jennifer calls the police. She yells to the 911 operator, help me, please. I need help. I don't know where my parents are. And as she's talking, she hears Han. But she didn't think she was going to hear her dad, right? And she says in a questioning voice, Dad? While on the phone with the lady, the 911. I'm calling 911. I'm okay. Han, as he states later, he says that he woke up. When he came to, Vic was just lying unresponsive next to her, and that he tried to shake her, and he didn't get any answer from her, and that he just ran out the house. And when he was running, that's cuando Jennifer lo escucha, because he was making like moaning sounds. And then the neighbor was outside. He was trying to leave. I think he obviously worked night because he was going to go into work. And, he was outside, and Han runs outside, and he's like, call the police, que me robaron, my house has been robbed, and that he had been shot. So the neighbor calls 911. He was all freaked out. I mean, kill no, right?
Yeah,
tu neighbor.
Somebody with shot in the face.
Yep. Calls 911. And they llegan después, right after, con una ambulance. Han gets taken to the hospital, but not before describing, just like a real brief to...
who had done it.
Yeah, like the people that he had seen in his home. He says 2 black men and one white. After arriving at the local hospital, Han gets airlifted to Sunnybrook Hospital in Toronto, where he's placed in a medically induced coma. Jennifer también se la llevan al hospital in her own ambulance, and también is seen, and, she's fine. No le pasó nada. And I think she does le dan como un calmante because she's freaking out, like her nerves are all over the place. No fucking shit. I wonder why. So she gets released around 1:30 in the morning. And so now it's November 9th, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, she gets taken to get questioned right before 3 in the morning. So actually they had said that the reason, because, I mean, not that it's a spoiler, but the reason why they think he survived is because when they placed the cobijas on top of him, he didn't fight it. So when they shot him, it kind of just missed, right? And Vic, no, because she fought them putting the cobija on her, and they didn't even put it on her. They just straight up just shot her point blank. So they just straight up shot her. The detective that is interviewing Jennifer tells her that she doesn't have to give a statement. But if she decides to, she'll get sworn in, her hand on a Bible and everything. And she'll have to sign paperwork. And, that says that if you're lying to us, it means that you're trying to deviate the investigation, and you can face up to 14 years in jail.
Okay.
She's like, cool. I'm going to give it a statement. And she gets sworn in by a police officer, and they start the interview. El detective asked her to describe the day, how it started, what they did. So she describes the day of November 8th and how it went. when it's closer to the time that everything went down, she says that she was on the phone talking to a friend while the TV was on in the background in her bedroom, and she was almost getting ready to go to bed. She says that she hears her mom call her dad to come downstairs. No es porque el señor estaba dormido. Mm-hmm. And then that she also hears some voices que no reconoce. Right? So she's like, she tells her friend on the phone, hey, I'm going to call you back. And que le cuelga real quick. And that she gets up to try to hear like against the door. And that she stays quiet for a bit. And that then she decides to poke her head out así. Abre la puerta. Y lo saca la cabeza. Y que she sees a man coming toward her with a shoestring. Y preguntándole que dónde está el dinero.
With the shoestring.
With the shoestring.
Okay. So
she gives him money that she had from her job that she, piano and waitressing or whatever, $2,000 to $2,500. They tie her hands tightly con a shoestring and walk her to her parents' bedroom, asking where the money was in there. And they actually find $1,100 que they had taken out, but in US dollars, not Canadian, because they had gone to New York for a wedding or something. So her mom had taken money out that she was supposed to put back into the bank, but she just hadn't had a chance to do it yet, which was $1,100. So they find that, they put it in their pocket. She says that they just made a fucking mess of the whole fucking bedroom, that the bed was flipped over, los cajones estaban todos sacados, and y luego que la bajan downstairs. And that all the lights were kept off. And that she managed to get a good look at one of the men because they opened the fridge door and it reflected on him.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they take her back upstairs. And
so la traen como caminando.
Ajá. La están paseando.
La andan paseando.
Yeah. But I think this is cuando que la bajaron y que la subieron para atrás para arriba, que Vic dice, don't hurt my daughter. So yeah, la suben para arriba y they tie her to the banister of the stairs. They tie her with her back to the railing, and then her hands are tied también.
Con a shoestring.
Con a shoestring, yeah. Tightly.
You couldn't get out of the shoestring?
No, she couldn't. She did say...
Cover her head? Nothing.
No.
So you could use your teeth to get out of the shoestring, but you ain't going to, right?
No, she couldn't because they were behind her back.
Yeah. So, okay, I see.
Mm-hmm. She said that she could still move, pero que she kept still because el guy tenía una pistola and she was scared. And that she was... So she's telling the detective this, right? Dude, but I was watching the interviews. She gets interviewed 3 times. And when she's recalling this, le está diciendo, she's like, these events happened. And the way that she's saying that they happened, she's thinking hard, or, when you just kind of stare into space and you're recalling events.
Una pinche mentirosa,
she's been lying her whole life.
Professional mentirosa, liar, professional liar.
Liar, pants on fire.
Big time pants on fire.
Yeah.
And not only that, but she does this for her whole life. So,
yeah.
She knows exactly how to make sure people can
believe her.
She probably could pass a test of those
polygraph, but those aren't really...
No, they're not, but that's what I'm saying. She could probably pass it.
Oh, yeah, that's how good of a liar she is.
Yeah, that's how good of a liar she is.
Okay, so la amarran, right, to the banister, and then she hears the man downstairs saying, you lied to us, and then that she hears 2 pops. So I think that's when they shot Han, because they shot him first. And then she heard her mom scream, y que then she heard 2 more pops. And then that she herself screamed for her mom, calling out to her. And as she's recalling these events, she empieza a llorar y le traen tissue. And the detective later states that, se estaba limpiando las lágrimas, but según, sí, pero que el tissue no tenía nada de lágrimas. So she hears, y luego she tells him that she hears the man after the pops. Mm-hmm. She hears the man run out the front door. And then that's when she had managed to hide her phone before all of this in the waistband. She was wearing leggings. So she managed to hide her phone aquí por su espalda and in the waistband of her leggings. So she managed to agarrar su phone with her hands tied behind her back, get the phone and dial 911 like that. And then that's when she calls 911. You know, that's how it started when I was talking earlier, that's when she hears her dad coming from the upstairs, running out the front door. And then, and then cuando llega the police, es cuando dice que one of the officers is actually the one that, after they secure the home, make sure there's nobody else in there, that they finally cut her loose with the scissors that she had in her bedroom or whatever.
From the shoestrings?
From the shoestrings, yes.
Jesus.
Le dice, why do you think your family would be the target of this type of crime? Because where they lived, it was like middle, upper class, you know, suburban, no pasa nada. She's like, I don't know. And the detective says, you're like, well, didn't you say that your mom drives a Lexus? She's like, yeah, you know, she does drive a Lexus and my dad drives a Mercedes. You know, he recounted that Beak was out line dancing. And he was like, well, maybe somebody saw her car, her luxury car from where she was at, and they followed her home. So he gets up and he leaves for like a good 20 minutes. And then while he's gone, nomás está with her head in between her like forefinger and her index finger like this, just looking down most of the time. And then she takes off her glasses and then she actually covers like her whole face like this, like she's crying. And she's like that también, like for a good amount of minutes. And then estaba llorando because then she goes like this. Y luego se pone otra vez sus lentes. Y luego, yeah. And then she gets up, and this is a tiny ass room.
Police room.
Yeah, a little tiny police room. It just has a little table, and, you know, they tell her that, you know, she's being recorded, so she knows. So she just gets up, and she just kind of walks a little bit back and forth. She's tired of sitting down.
Le dolía las nalgas
ya. Yeah. And then she puts her head against the wall, and then she just starts walking again, and she starts shaking her hands out like this. So the detective comes back and tells her that they need her phone records. She's like, well, how deep into my phone are you going to look? Le dijo. Or investigate. And then, you know, phone calls, texts. And he's like, up to 9 days. For sure that the friend that she was talking to on the phone cuando she heard the unknown voices is going to get interviewed. And a friend that had been there with her watching TV in the basement, and he left like around 9, right before everything happened. She signs off on the paperwork. So on that same day, the 9th, porque they interviewed her in la madrugada, the media, it blows up. The investigators say in a press conference that money was taken, they don't specify amounts, and that there was no sign of forced entry. Eyes are squinting. Mm-hmm. They also released descriptions of the 3 men according to Jennifer. Number 1, male, black, 28 to 33 years old, 5'7", with the medium build. Number 2, male, black, 31 years old, 5'8", with a thin build, wearing a dark hood and a bandana covering half his face. Number 3, male, black, thin build, with a Caribbean accent.
Oh, you really were listening to them if you know he had a Caribbean accent.
Yes.
Wow.
So
those are pretty specific.
Yeah. It was dark, remember? She said that they mostly keep everything dark.
Yeah.
Daniel, he hears the news of the story on the radio. Y le manda un mensaje a Jennifer. If you need me, I'm here for you.
Okay.
Como si no sabe. Pinche pendejos.
Bien pendejos que están.
So yeah, Jennifer gets released from their interview. She goes back to the hospital and she's there with family who are there for Han, you know. The doctors inform them that one bullet entered his face, traveled down, shattering his neck bone, and lodging itself in his neck. It missed a vital artery, barely, but if it had been hit, he would have died instantly. The fact that he fucking survived, miracle.
Yeah, miracle.
An informant tells police that Daniel, who is connected to Jennifer, is a drug dealer. Mm-hmm. Okay, apparently he never stopped. You know how in the first part he had got caught and then I changed my ways. This is too risky. I'm not trying to do this. But apparently he did not. It's a thought that maybe his connection to her, since he's in the drug business, might be a reason why her family was targeted. So they bring him in for an interview. Sí, lo traen también. And he tells them that he used to date Jennifer, but is now seeing someone else, Christine. I see in some articles they would call her Christine, but in the book called her Katrina or vice versa. So I'm just going to call her Christine.
Yeah, I don't know.
That he's seeing someone else, Christine, who actually goes with him to the station to get interviewed. So ahí está Christine con él. Daniel tells the investigators toda la vida de Jennifer, how she lied to her parents about their relationship because she couldn't have a boyfriend, how it went on for 7 years. Tells them that her parents were super strict, that she was not allowed to do a lot of things. Les dice que les echó mentiras de la escuela.
Like, no.
Like, he didn't fucking help her.
Yeah, he spilled the beans.
Yeah, todo. Todo.
Dijo todas las.
He was like, I'm going to tell you all the things. All the things.
Pinche chismoso.
He also tells them about the 3 nights a week that she's supposed to be living with Topaz, pero vivía con él. Todo eso.
Oh my God.
He also tells them about the weird texts. Because remember in the first part, I said that, he was getting weird text messages and calls. And that Jennifer would too, and so would Christine. And at the end of the questioning, the detective asked Daniel, since he's in the little drug field a little bit, how much would someone in the streets would do this job for? What happened to...
Oh, because he's a street man.
Yeah.
He's a street man.
Y el menso dice, and I quote, I'd be pretty sure for $10,000, someone would do something like that.
Wow. That's pretty specific, bro.
Family and friends discount there.
Mm-hmm.
After that interview, Jennifer gets interviewed for a second time on November 11th. So remember, she got happened November 8th, and she got interviewed la madrugada November 9th. It's 9 November 11th.
Got it.
Now, in this interview, she starts wringing her hands together, like, nomás así, like that. I know you guys can see, but I'm showing Barbie.
Yeah.
And she keeps saying that she's nervous because she doesn't want to say the wrong thing. She gets asked to demonstrate how she managed to call 911 with her hands tied behind her back and her tied, to the banister. So she stands up and crosses her hands, like I showed you, like this, behind her back at the wrist.
Yeah.
At the wrist. And they gave her like a little dummy phone for her to demonstrate. So she pulls the phone. She had put in her back pocket. So she pulls the phone out of the back pocket like this. She can still move her fingers in her hands, so she's able to dial, but she can bring the phone up to her ear, obviously. So she keeps it right here, closer down to her waist, and she dials or whatever, and she screams into it. And then the detective asks her, "How could you hear the 911 operator?" She said that she turned up the volume as high as it went. I'm like, ma'am, can you just tell him you had put on speaker?
I mean, but what kind of phones were there back then?
It was a flip phone. She had I think she had a Samsung, but I just don't know because they already had. I think it was a flip phone.
Yeah. Did they always have speakerphone?
Yes, pendeja.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never used it.
Obviously not, because you're not murdering anybody.
No, I really wasn't.
The detective, he's like, okay. He tells her, because se paró, right, to demonstrate this, and he tells her she can sit back down. The bitch is shook. She is shook. She's shooketh. She is motherfucking stressed. You can see it
in her
in the video. Yeah, in the video. Yeah, for sure. The detective tells her, take a deep breath. It's okay. Se sienta. As she's sitting down, you can feel her stress through the video, through the screen. I'm like, bitch, I'm stressed and I didn't fucking even do anything. Really, really. Ya cuando se sienta after this, she just keeps holding her stomach.
Porque se quería cagar, güey.
She farts.
Stop.
Yeah.
Se quería cagar.
Literally.
No,
I'm telling you, yeah, you can feel her stress. I could feel her stress through the screen.
She was just damn.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry. And she's so soft spoken. I mean, yeah.
You can just imagine.
Yeah.
You can't, pero la güey se anda cagando.
And that's still, holding her stomach, wringing her hands so she's not holding her stomach. And también, the detectives ask her again, go over the events from beginning to end, and then do it backwards from,
End to begin.
Yeah, because they do say that when they ask people that, they remember things that they didn't the first time when they, say the events backwards.
Okay, these detectives are on it, girl.
And if there are any inconsistencies, from what she noted or she said the first
Canada.
time.
I see you, Canada.
And there are some inconsistencies, but nothing. Oh, it was you. You did it. We know right now. Not like that.
They probably feel it already. They probably feel it.
See, the thing is, and even, you know, when the story broke in the media, people were asking why she was left alive, right? She wasn't sexually assaulted and she wasn't hurt. Nomás la amarraron. And her parents were shot. Eyes are squinting more. So in her retelling the events, they are now at the part where she's getting tied up, right? And Jennifer decides to like add in
a
little sprinkle. She says that the guy told her, you obeyed. Just shut up and don't move. So she's hinting at least to me, that because she obeyed, she was left unharmed, and that her parents must not have obeyed, and that's why they were shot.
Pues no está güey. No está güey. Porque, I mean, that's if you're thinking about something that hard, like, bitch.
Well, she knows how to lie.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, no está pendeja.
No,
like, she knows what she's doing.
I mean, está pendeja because
no está pendeja, like, hay different ways of being pendejas.
Yeah.
You know, there's a pendeja that you do stupid shit, and then there's a pendeja that...
You're smart and do stupid shit.
And do stupid shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
No, like, she's thinking about this, like, hard, you know, trying to make sure that she gets your fucking life. That's too much, bro. It's stressful. I can't. I'm sorry. I would have been told, sang like a little bird, yeah, I fucking did it. What you want me to do? Like, I just can't. I can't. Be like, no, I'm sorry. Take me to jail. I'm gonna be somebody's bitch. Fuck it. Because it's stressful, you imagine.
Well, yeah, se anda cagando.
Bro, la pendeja que se mete en los pinches parties and shit. I would be like, woo, girl.
Open the door.
Open the door.
Yeah, it's a tiny room.
Yeah.
I don't know how well ventilated they are.
How do you fart and then just be like, excuse me, sorry?
Well, bitch, you going to jail, I think it's a bigger worry than you just fucking farting.
Pues sí, wait, pero like, I don't know. I don't know.
Get the cachen, you'll be like, oops.
And be like, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just farted.
Yeah, it's because I am nervous. And then that's the thing. She was so worried about just her not looking bad. You're just worried, I just don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm like, no, don't worry about what it's gonna look like. Tell us what happened. Hold on, bitch. Let me tell you. Just hold on to your calzones.
No, my calzones, no.
Then he brings up her past, you know, porque el pinche Daniel les dijo pinche todo. So
I would have been like, pinche estúpido.
The detective brings up her relationship with Daniel and how it progressed. And they wanted to see if it kind of like lined up with what he had said. So she told them what we already know, you know, all the things, how they were friends and they started dating because he saved her life, according to her, and how they dated because she, you know, behind her parents' back because he couldn't have a boyfriend. También le dice el detective the lies about not attending university and not even graduating from high school. How she was pressured to go to university to study something that her dad wanted and not something that she wanted. And the detective asked her if she felt any type of resentment towards her dad for this very reason. And then she says, I chose what I chose, but in the end, I chose my family.
Wow.
Because remember, they had kicked her out.
Yeah, they kicked her out.
And she said no.
Y luego, ¿cómo se llama? Su mom was like, no, we're bringing her back.
Yeah, she can stay. Because that's my daughter.
Yeah.
The phone that Daniel gave her, remember, comes up. And she says that she only used it for 3 months to talk to Daniel. And that she took, which it was an iPhone. He gave her an iPhone. And she took out the SIM card and just never used it. And she put the SIM card, she only used it for 3 months, took out the SIM card and then put the SIM card in a jacket. And then she just didn't use the phone. She también gets asked if she received any threatening messages. Because remember, Daniel had said, you know, they were getting them. And she says that yes, she did. And that she received a letter in the mail that said, you're a dead person walking.
Wow.
And the detective just looks at her like, and says, now, why didn't you tell me this before? And she was like, everything had just happened. You know, I didn't even think of it. So,
es que ya está queriendo salsearla. Like, she's trying to...
Echarle crema a los tacos.
Bastante crema, because she's probably like, okay, I have to say this so that it can be relevant, you know?
Yeah. And también le dice, did anything traumatic happen to you? Because Daniel le dijo that she was raped. And she tells them that she told Daniel that she had gotten raped, but that it was a lie. So, you know, her lies are coming out. So they're seeing that she lies a lot. And another thing that she lied to Daniel about was receiving a single bullet in the mail. Yep, which she had told Daniel that had happened to her too.
Wow. This bitch.
After she received the letter about you're a dead person walking. So since she's been lying to Daniel about the things here and there, the detective even asked her, so are those threatened messages and calls, did you lie to Daniel about those two? Are those fake? And she says no, that they're real. And so is the first letter she got, which she says that she threw away because she didn't think anything of it, that it was just because she suspected it was coming from Christine's friends, Daniel's new girlfriend.
Bitch, if somebody's going to send me a letter talk about you're about to kill me, I'm about to go to the cops, FBI.
I send it to, look.
I don't care. You're not going to come and tell me. Those are fighting words right there. That's a big thing to say.
So that's pretty much sums up this 4.5 hour interview. And she gets up and she leaves.
Porque estaba cagándose.
Yeah, seguro se fue al baño. Yeah. Vic's funeral, it was on November 15th. And she was buried 4 days later.
Pobrecita.
Yeah, and Han didn't get to go. On November 22nd, she goes in for a third interview with a different detective this time.
They're like, let's change it up.
It was almost 5 hours long.
Damn.
On November 12th, Han had come out of his coma and had talked to the police. He talked to them about what he recalls from that night. And from when Han woke up to now that she's being interviewed on the 22nd, they've gathered plenty information. Jennifer is told that what she has said to police previously has been some of the truth, not all of the truth. They believe what Han has said since his description of the 3 men do not match Jennifer's. And they believe what he is saying, and they know that she's lying and that she's somehow involved. This is what the detective tells her. So he tells her all of this like in a very understanding voice, like in a very understanding way, telling her that, everyone makes mistakes. It doesn't matter who they are. It could be a school teacher or...
So they're playing the bad cop, good cop.
A priest.
Yeah.
Like everybody makes mistakes. He tells her, I know you're a good person and you have a good heart. You lived a stressful life. You're a 24-year-old being treated like a 15-year-old. Trying to get her to understand that, yes, she made a mistake and she can tell him and that he won't judge her. That they're surprised it didn't happen sooner, ladies and detective. And that the way she was treated bordered abuse.
Wow.
Yep. And he's like, you just need to tell us what really happened and who was involved. It's never too late to do the right thing. He's like, I need to get this fixed for your mom. Don't you want justice for your mom? And bitch, it's really crazy because this technique is called, I think, the read technique, the way that they interview you, and they do it for extended period of times for a reason, and that the detective gets a chair on wheels and the person who's being interviewed doesn't, and then they get in your face. He tried to get this out of her for a good hour, just sitting there in her head with her head just looking down like this, and he was like, just tell me it's okay, if you could change it, you wouldn't you? And she's like, yes. And I was like, oh my God, sir. I want to confess, yes, I did it. No, bitch, dude, it's crazy to watch. It's insane. I'm like, oh my God.
No, that's why they're
well, yeah, of course. But yeah. I'm like, wow.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
no,
yes.
It really is.
They're watching, try to get this all out of her. And I'm like, oh my God. Sir, I did it. I'll confess because I did it.
Damn.
Yeah, like that.
I don't know about that guy. I ain't trying to go there.
So he finally gets her to say something, but at first she just says that they were there to shoot her. She says that she didn't want to be alive because she was such a disappointment, and since she couldn't take her own life, because remember, she said that previously she tried to commit suicide, she wanted someone else to do it for her. He then gets her to also say how she managed to set this up without mentioning Daniel. Okay. That she was the one that made sure that the door was unlocked. He tells her that they know that she put the plan into motion to have her parents killed and not her. He's like, no, it wasn't for you. It was for your parents. So he's like this. He was like, no, it was for your parents, not for you. Pero de ahí no la sacan. He never gets her to say the words that he wants her to say.
Yeah.
And after about an hour and a half of him trying to get this out of her, they can't. So he gets up and leaves because they'll randomly leave, right, from the room. I mean, I'm sure they have their reasons, but he leaves and then just comes back and tells her that they're going to arrest her for murder. attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. And then she tells him, he was like, I thought you were on my side. He tells her. She tells him, because he was making her feel like, we're just trying to help you, blah, blah. Yeah. And he just pretty much tells her. He ends up leaving. He was like, you need a lawyer. We're going to get you in touch with the lawyer. And this is a thing. Que, como dice, está pendeja. She's smart, pero está pendeja. Because through all these interviews, you're like, you don't have to give us a statement. You moron. Always get a lawyer. It doesn't matter how innocent you really are. Don't talk to Popo without legal counsel.
Yeah, pues está pendeja.
But that just goes for everybody. If you're going to take one thing from this episode and this show, get a lawyer. If you're innocent, you get a fucking lawyer.
If you're guilty, get a lawyer.
Get a lawyer. Especially, and other people are like, it's going to look like I'm guilty. No, bitch, you're just going to defend yourself. If you're not guilty, you have nothing to worry about. But get a lawyer. Mm-hmm. Now, Lanford is on the police's watch or on their radar. He gets interrogated. Lanford, homeboy, homeboy, gets interrogated first because Jennifer mentions his name and says that he's the one who helped her arrange the hit on herself. And he denies everything. So, okay, I'm trying to explain this without making it confusing. Okay, so David makes it on police's radar, right? Not only does Hannah identify him in a photo lineup, but a burner phone that is under the name Peter Robinson gets linked to him after he texts his name, age, address, and social insurance info to social services. So he texts social services with all this information, even though the phone is under Peter Robinson. Wow. Okay, hold on. Now, how did this Peter Robinson phone come into the picture in the first place, right? That number for Peter Robinson was one of the numbers that Jennifer's second phone, the iPhone, texted the night of the murder.
Wow.
Yes. See, that's the thing. And they're burner phones, but in Canada, one of the companies keeps records for all of that for up to a month only. So they were able to contact the phone company and they're like, hey, who is this? We need this.
That's crazy, dude. I didn't know that. Canada, you know what? I think we're moving.
I'm telling you, but you tell me no?
No. It's too hot here. Let's go. And them UV rays, bro, they're killing us, bro.
Oh, hell yeah. So in her third interview, the one where she gets arrested at, Jennifer told police that she had gotten Lanford's number from someone named Rick and not Daniel. Because remember, she's not implicating Daniel. She's in love with him.
She's still trying to not implicate Daniel after the bullshit girl.
Well, now this Rick gets called in for an interview. Rick tells the police that he knew Jennifer through Andrew. Remember, Andrew is a friend that she reconnected with, that he was like telling her, oh yeah, I robbed people at gunpoint, and he gave her the idea to...
Oh, yeah. First episode. Episode. Okay.
He tells her, I met her through Andrew. 6 months before the murder, in the spring of 2010, Jennifer told Rick about how shitty her home life was and how she wanted to kill her parents. And he thought she was joking. But when it was clear that obviously she wasn't, he stopped taking her calls.
Se espantó.
But not before she paid him $1,500. And then he was like, see you, sucker, and took her money and never called her back.
Yeah. That's why you need kids, finish high school, please.
Yeah.
Because you see this bullshit right here?
And so Rick was Andrew's roommate. So she was like, hey, Rick's not answering. She would tell Andrew, Rick's not answering my phone calls. And Rick's like, oh, I moved out of the apartment.
You know what, kids? We go back to the same thing. Finish high school, please. Because you see this idiocy?
Yeah. Okay, now back to the Peter Robinson phone case, David. The night of the murder, that phone, Peter Robinson phone, texted an unknown female and told her that he was in a meeting with Kimball.
Okay.
Kimball ends up being Eric Hardy. It takes detectives a little bit, really, but they finally figured out by cross-referencing more phone numbers. And in doing so, they find a second nickname for this Kimball person, because Kimball is also a nickname, Sniper.
Wow.
See, Kimball gets run through a database, y nada sale with that name, the police database. So then Sniper gets run through the same database, and there's a note attached to contact a sergeant with the Toronto police who was also looking for a suspect for more than a year for a different murder case.
By the name of Sniper.
So then after the detectives for Beacon Han's case talked to this detective in Toronto, they, be like, hey, this is what's happening with Jennifer's case. And she was like, hey, this is what happened with this case a year ago. So after that, Eric's photo gets released to the public for that other murder case. And then he's on the run away. Mm-hmm. At the end of January in 2011, he gets arrested at the mall.
Chilling at the mall.
Yeah, they go
drinking a little.
And they said that he was in the food court. Yeah. They also, it comes out that about 2 weeks before the murder, Linford and Eric were stopped by an officer for a traffic violation.
Wow.
So now they're linked.
Yep.
So now Eric is linked to Linford, and Linford is linked with Jennifer because, he helped her set this up or whatever.
Because she was going to kill herself.
Yeah.
Not her parents.
Yes. After additional detective work, David is arrested on April 14th and charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder. The next day, even Eric, he's already detained, gets charged with the same. And then Daniel's brought in for a second interview.
Bring in Daniel.
He's still sus, right? Le enseñan fotos de Eric y David, and he los reconoce porque he knows that they're friends of Linford. Homeboy. I'm just going to keep saying Linford and then homeboy. He contradicts himself a whole bunch of times. And there's 6.5 hours.
Shit, man.
He tells the police that Jennifer sí le dijo that she wanted to kill her parents and that she must have gotten Linford's homeboy's phone number from him, I guess, and that he guesses that he told her. I guess you can call him.
He guesses?
He is arrested on April 26, 2011 at his job and is charged with the same as the others in front of all his coworkers and stuff. Linford then is arrested on May 4th after police speak to a man that was the middleman between Daniel and Linford. See, because they weren't communicating directly anymore.
No?
Mm-hmm. So this middle guy would communicate what one wanted to say to the other, and they only did this one night, November 8th.
Interesting.
He is charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder.
No, ya
So ya cayeron todos.
Ya cayeron todos.
Okay.
Ya cayó el 20 aquí.
The trial begins on March 19, 2014. So this happened in 2010. Trial finally starts.
So it took about 4 years.
Yes.
To get, yeah.
Lasted for about 9 months. If Jennifer went down, all the rest of everybody will go down. Because they're all tied to her. Mm-hmm. There was no actual physical evidence that was linking any of these people to the actual scene of the crime. But there was a witness, Han. And there was also a shit ton of, we know, phone data and tower pings
so
of the cell phones.
Like having someone there.
Yeah, he left a hair there or some shit,
Yeah, no. Was Han able to walk after?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Even though he got hit in the spine. But...
The defense tried to paint Jennifer as a prisoner in the months leading up to the murder. Her super strict and controlled upbringing. And everything she had to hide, pressure.
Well, mentiras. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that was mentiras. Pero I think that, I guess we'll just do it in our final statement.
Yeah. What was presented to the jury in court was the story of the hit being for Jennifer, that yes, she had plotted to have her father killed early that spring, but that Rick took her money and ran. She says that the relationship with her father had actually been making progress in the months before the murder, and that he was so happy because she was going to start school back up in January. For reals this time.
For reals this time?
For reals this time. So there was no way that the events that took place on November 8th were her doing, that it was just as much of a surprise to her as to everybody else. Now, when the defense interviews Han, they were able to create some doubt in his testimony. He gets wrong what Jennifer was wearing that night. They also make a point to say that he didn't even have a good look at what was happening around him porque no tenía sus lentes, and it was dark, and everything was so chaotic.
No mames, wait. What if she changed? That's not even cool. Not only that, pero, bro, I wear glasses. I bet you I'm going to see something.
Yeah.
Somebody trying to kill my ass. She.
And, whatever he's testifying, how credible is it if it happened like almost 4 years ago and he was shot in the face? So how clear?
It didn't fuck up his brain.
But that's not what you need you just need to create some doubt for the jury. The defense. This is Jennifer's defense. The Crown, which is saying like the state, like here in the US, because she was the state versus whomever. Well, in Canada is the Crown. Right?
How fucking bomb.
Yeah, it's like very like proper and legit.
We're moving to fucking Canada.
I've been telling you for years, pero no me haces caso.
No, aquí no tenemos que quedar.
The Crown presents to the jury how much of a liar Jennifer is. How she's been lying all her fucking life and how she's lying right now, just like she lied to police in those interviews. They show how she held all this resentment towards her father and how her life with Daniel would be possible if her parents were out of the way. A lie they catch her in is one where she says that she got Linford's number from the phone Daniel gave her, because then she says that he got it from that number because Linford was texting that second phone code words for like drug related things that she was supposed to then inform Daniel about. So she was like the middle person, right? Since he's never stopped being a fucking drug dealer. The Crown proves that the first time Linford's number texted the iPhone was August 18th and never before that day. And she said that that's the reason why she got Daniel's phone in the first place.
Wow.
She's still not throwing him under the bus, bitch.
No?
No?
Damn, she's down asshole, bro. If my husband would be over there doing something, I'd be like, yep, he did it. Get him.
He did it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nadie le dice que ande haciendo sus pendejadas. That's what you get.
Get him. I'll bring his ass in here. Shit. So she's a down ass bitch.
They also make a point to show that how much of a quinky dink it is that she was in contact with all these 4 men on the exact same date.
Girl, it's over. She's down.
During the trial, Eric's lawyer, Eric is the one that, was wanted for that a previous murder.
Uh-huh.
So Eric's lawyer ends up getting sick and he can't find another lawyer quick enough. So they separate him from this trial because they were all being tried together, apparently. So he'll be tried later. After this happens, the other lawyers decide to paint Eric as a bad seed.
Yeah.
David's lawyer says that Eric is the one that made David participate. That David was only the driver and did not know what was going on or that it would end in murder. Since Eric was already wanted for another murder, it helped them paint the picture that they wanted to paint, That he was a mastermind and a manipulator. And that he made David let him borrow his phone to text Jennifer that night.
Dude, that's some bullshit ass shit, bro. Like,
Jennifer's lawyer also adds in that Eric wanted to rob the home since Jennifer didn't give them the $8,500 cancellation fee. So it was a robbery gone wrong. In the end, the Crown does his job.
Bitch, I'm not fucking with that Crown, bro.
And, they managed to prove, obviously I couldn't we'd be here for 3 days if we went through everything that they presented, but they did their jobs.
The Crown did its justice.
Yes. On December 13, 2014, all 4 are found guilty.
Which is, recap.
Jennifer, Daniel, Linford, and David.
Linford is homeboy.
Yeah, and David.
And David is sniper.
No, Sniper is Eric. But Eric gets tried second because his lawyer got sick.
His lawyer got sick.
Yeah.
So then it's
4.
4 right now. And this one that is about to close. Jennifer.
Linford, a.k.a. homeboy. David. And David. Yes.
Okay, got it.
They all they're all found guilty of first-degree murder and attempted murder. Jennifer was sentenced on January 23rd, 2015 to a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Daniel, David, and Linford, I think, got all the same sentences. Dude,
if I was gonna be put in jail, just leave me in there. Like, don't fucking let me out with the possibility of parole because, what are you gonna come out to do what?
Now, when it's time for Eric's new trial, he ends up getting a deal where he admits to certain things that led up to what happened that night. Mm-hmm. And he says that, yes, he was contacted by Linford and talked about Jennifer's plan. He says that he agreed to help. And some tower records, cell phone confirmed this. Daniel, Eric, and Linford were together at a specific date when they were looking for an accomplice. Wow. He also admits to asking Jennifer to leave the front door unlocked, but that's all he admits to. He never says anything about him being inside the home. So, así queda. He received 18 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 9 years. on top of the 25 years that he had actually had received for the first murder that he was wanted for, que lo cacharon en el mall.
Wow.
The deal was cut to spare the Pan family so they wouldn't go to trial all over again because they'd have to sit in this trial and relive the events of just, traumatic shit. The third person that was in that car with them in the home was never identified. So the judge after this granted a no communication order where Jennifer is not allowed to contact her family. She is also not allowed to communicate with Daniel as part of her sentence. But in one last letter that she sent to him, or she wrote, she signed it, "Love always."
Wow, creepy as fuck.
She maintains her innocence.
Pinche vieja. Hasta el último.
Now, I want you to read, I'm not going to read them because I'm going to cry, because I did when I read them, Hans and Felix's victim impact statements, because Felix,
You want me to read them?
Yeah. He was brought in to testify, but I couldn't put everything in here because, like I said, we'd be here forever. The victim impact statements, the court can take this into consideration during the sentencing.
So let's say...
This is Hans' victim impact statement.
Life forever changed impact statement, basically is what it says. It says, when I lost my wife, I lost my daughter at the same time. I don't feel like I have a family anymore. On the day Big Han died, I feel like I died too. My life totally changed that day. Some say I should feel lucky to be alive, but I feel like I am dead too. I can't work anymore because of my injuries, and I have given up all of the things I used to love to do, like gardening, working on cars, and listening to music. There is no joy in any of that for me. I miss my wife so much. She knew me better than anyone and cared about me. I am so lonely without her. We were married for almost 30 years. Big Han was a good wife, a good mother. She always put her children first and rarely spent money on herself. She loved music and loved to go line dancing. She took care of our children while I worked. She had always wanted to go to Vietnam, and I always said we have to spend our money on the children's education first. But once they are finished school, we can focus on doing the things we want then. But that time never came for her. I don't find any joy in holidays anymore. I am sad and lonely all the time. Sometimes when I see my friends, I try to pretend I am happy, but struggle with being jealous of my friends' families and their happiness. My only hope for the future is that Felix will get married and let me live with him. Right now, I live with my 2 sisters and my elderly mother, as I can't stand being in my home because of all the bad memories of what happened there. There are repairs that need to be done on the house, but because of my injuries, I am unable to do anything. I don't like going to the house because my neighbors ask me what happened and I am ashamed. I can't sell the house because it is a Chinese neighborhood with superstition, and no one would want to live there because of the murder. I cannot sleep at night and have constant nightmares about what happened the night we were shot. I feel panic all the time, especially when I see a group of young men on the street. I am not racist at all, but black men really scare me. If I see them standing in a group, I am in a lot of pain and take medication for pain every day. I have no appetite, as food is not pleasurable to me because I know I will never be able to taste my wife's cooking again. I am also on medication for diabetes and high cholesterol, as I cannot exercise as it is too painful. My life has totally changed. I attend my wife's grave and with my brother and my sister-in-law on the anniversary of her death and on any other special holidays. It is so very hard on me to remember how she died and what my life has become. I am a very lonely person, and I have no one to share my feelings with, as my son Felix does not want to talk about what happened and just wants to forget. It is very hard for Felix. He doesn't want to hear his sister's name and doesn't want to know about what happened in the court. Felix has become very separate and is a very different person. He doesn't want to talk about the family, and he is very closed down, distant, and too sad. He Says he doesn't want to remember and won't look for a job in Toronto because he feels like he has a bad family name because everyone knows about his mother's murder. I would like to thank the following people who have been involved in this case throughout a very difficult time. And then he mentions all of these people.
The lawyers and stuff.
The lawyers. I hope my daughter Jennifer thinks about what has happened to her family and can become a good and honest person one day. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Pobrecito. But let me read Felix's real quick. This is his victim impact statement. He says, 4 years have passed since the incident on November 8th, 2010. And although many things have changed, some of the things I hoped would change didn't. I can't recall how many times I've been told, time will heal all. As much as I wish this was true, I can't say it has for me. It dulls and fades over time as periods of depression brighten up to give me hope and drive me to try to change things in my life. Supportive family, encouraging friends, and happy internet videos make me want to stand up and make a difference in this lifetime. Not only for my family and me, but for the world we all share. But in an instant, it's all gone. A comment from a stranger, sad news on the radio, an awful day. Sometimes all it takes is a whiff of a long forgotten smell to send my mind spinning back into the darkness. My heartbeat races and I'm thinking about every breath because my brain has completely forgotten how to breathe. Like how a dark shadow is something I cannot hide from. The best I can do is try to keep moving. I can be the first to admit running away from my problems is not healthy, but is the only way I know how to keep going. I don't have an issue talking about feelings or have issues trusting people around me. I have people who I can tell everything, but when it comes to this one thing, nothing comes out. Even trying to piece together words right now feels like a mission impossible. I keep telling myself that I have to do this for the ones who no longer can. Now I am stuck. This is where I want to start to talk about how I lost my emotional support, my foundation, my mom. This is where the pen stops and the floodgates open and I can no longer continue with this topic. Unfortunately, this is not where I stop losing people. News of this incident spread fast like wildfire through friends, family, and all throughout Facebook. Everyone knew. From then on, nothing was the same. Everyone's reaction towards me was different. The way they asked me, hey, how are you doing? Or sometimes just say, hey, and a long pause, not sure they should carry on. Some friends could take it, some friends couldn't. At the end of the day, I don't blame anyone for bailing. I, if anyone, should know how draining this can be. For those who stuck around, I am grateful, yet pity. Being associated with me doesn't come without consequence. I recently invited someone and their friends over for New Year's. I had to watch them squirm and suffer as they tried their best to refuse without admitting to the fear of explaining to friends how they ended up at a home of such darkness.
Wow.
I've had to deal with this long enough to know it's happening before it happens. I once had a friend who simply wanted to Google directions to come over to my house, but instead of a map, received pages and pages of news articles, my name, where I went to school, my major intersection. Any one of these things is enough to warrant the question, hey, did you hear about the Markham home invasion a few years back? Unfortunately, 4 years doesn't give me enough experience to dig such a terrifying question. For 4 years, people have been telling me, you have stayed so strong and you are the strongest person I know. I honestly cannot agree. To me, being strong is a choice. Being forced through a tough time is just surviving. For the longest time, I would keep telling myself, I have to keep moving forward. That it was the only way not to let this define me. I worked hard, studied hard, did everything I thought I was supposed to, reminding myself that I wasn't just doing it for me. I was doing it for everyone who ever loved me. Believe me, it's a lot harder than they make it seem in the movies. Fast forward a few years and I'm a brand new graduate. Not Jennifer. The worst is over, time to build a new life, or so I thought. Starting a new career, I thought I could finally leave some of this baggage behind me. Little did I know it's not so easy. In the unforgiving world of social media, nothing gets left behind. I can have a perfect resume and a perfect LinkedIn, but it's always overshadowed by what happened in 2010. Any employer looking for Felix Pan over the internet is first welcomed with punchlines such as brother believed sister's lies, murder trial told to Toronto Sun. Not a great start. I guess hard work doesn't always pay off. Sometimes no matter what you say or do, no matter your skills or personality, it's impossible to see through the past and give someone a chance. When first asked to make a statement regarding how this case has impacted me, I didn't know what to expect. Now that I'm writing down my last few thoughts, I'm questioning if this is what everyone else expects. It's been a while since everything happened, but I'm still barely able to think about, let alone write about, how I feel for others to read. There are many things I would rather not discuss and some things I couldn't even if I wanted to. We have barely scratched the surface of what is going on in my life. I just hope this allows you to get what you are looking for and gives you a glimpse of what it's like to be me.
Well, I mean, the dad at least said that he hopes for his daughter to find peace, and he couldn't even talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, they were so close.
Yeah, they were so close. And it's not like that he believed the lies. It's just that he just went with the flow, you know?
Like, how do you... Like, okay, so if something, like, if your sibling did something, if they tell you it wasn't me, wouldn't you write off the bad belief? Okay, it wasn't. How could they, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I would believe any of my sisters and my brother.
It's so fucking sad. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad. And yeah, Han actually he didn't go back to the house for like a good 6 months until he was forced to go by police or something like that. Like, you need to go and, you know, yeah.
Pick up your stuff.
Or we need to see some things.
Yeah.
Can imagine.
Honestly, like what I was talking about earlier was the fact that I feel like his statement gave a lot about their relationship as a family or him as a father. And not only that, but Felix's statement also gave a lot about that because, you know, you could tell there were, you know, driven people. There were people that were, you know, family oriented. Like he was over here like saying he wants to move in with him. And, you know,
that's the only way. Like, how sad is that?
That is sad.
That is his only hope is for Felix to get married so he could move in with him.
Yeah. But then Felix is like, I can't move on from this because every time
he moved to the East Coast, I believe, or the West Coast. I think he moved
to America. He'll be fine.
I think, yeah. But that's the thing.
The Queen?
No, the Crown.
Oh, the Queen.
That's the thing. I mean, if you Google his name, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm just saying, like, it just tells you a little bit. It gives you a little bit of insight.
I can imagine. The family was destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, time has passed. Who knows where they're at now or where their relationship is at now? You know, it's 2022.
But, like, he said, I lost my wife and my daughter at the same time. You know, and that means he still loves her. He's still, you know.
Yeah, there was this instance. I didn't put it in the episode, but when the defense was interviewing him, they asked him, you know, yeah, you said that she was speaking in hushed tones with the men that came into the home, but you also said that she looked sad and worried. And he's like, well, that's my daughter. I love her. I wouldn't say anything bad about her.
As parents, like,
but do you ever, as a parent, like your parent, like, do you ever stop loving your child?
No, you don't, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
I mean.
And they did it to you.
Yeah.
And to your wife.
And to your wife, like your best friend, the person that you've been with almost 30 years and, you know, the person that you wake up next to every day.
Yeah, the episode was about Jennifer and the shit that she did, but I mean.
Who she affected. Yeah.
And, you know, Big is no longer here.
Yeah.
But Felix and Han are suffering and for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know?
Like he said, I would have rather just died. Because, I mean, what are you going to be here?
I just hope he gets the help. Or he has gotten to him.
He's really depressed. Like, he needs a lot of help. And I hope that he does. And I hope that Felix maybe opens up a little bit more. Maybe they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Know,
yeah.
Based on what we're reading, like, he opens up a little bit more to his father. And, like, he's like, he doesn't want to talk about it. But be a little bit more realistic. It's like, okay.
Well, hopefully things have changed from then to now. Yeah. Moment, I mean, you guys are the only people you guys have left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, at least, and it's two men. So sometimes that doesn't help a lot. And then obviously.
And the culture.
And then Han, you know, was probably like the king in his house. He was the king. So, and then for him to have to live with his elder mom and
his sister.
It's hard.
And then dealing with everything. I can imagine.
And then
poor people.
Jennifer just not giving a shit. Like, she is so selfish.
In love with Daniel.
Like, so fucking selfish. It's not even funny. Like, I can't believe this case was crazy. And it did pull the heartstrings because.
But that's the thing. A lot of people también were saying, you know, they grew up in the same Asian background community with tiger parents. Yeah, I was treated worse than she was. if they consider her being treated bad. She was like, but I didn't ever think to kill my parents. No. And a lot of people, even in the courtroom or a jury member, I think later said, he was like, yeah, we were expecting her to say that she was locked in a closet or some shit, but that never came, you know?
No, that was up to her and what she decided to do. Like, sus pendejadas, you know, we go back to the same thing. That was her decision. And you know what? You're a grown-ass woman. You made that decision.
To stay there.
To stay there. And you have to fucking lay with that bitch. Because you know what?
There, I mean, everybody. No, absolutely not.
I don't feel bad for her.
No andes haciendo pendejadas y no te van a pasar pendejadas.
Exactly.
Okay.
How about that? We'll close with that. No pendejadas done. No pendejadas happened.
Okay. Yep. Thank you guys. See you on the next one.
I want to say something before we go. I want to congratulate my sister Jackie for her graduation. I am so proud of you, sister. I love you. And it was really awesome to be there and see you graduate from high school, knowing that you were, to me in my mind, still a baby. So I love you, and we're really proud of you. And yeah, that's it.
Hey, Jackie. Thank you, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.